Well, Pete, first off, I want to welcome you here. You were here a couple weeks back. It's great to be back in studio, doing a session, a little bit about yourself, a little bit about the team, a little bit about the company, but ultimately, give me a little bit of the storyline of why you think we're here right now.
So the storyline, first off, thank you very much for inviting me. This is a great setup, great place. Very fortunate to have the opportunity to sit with you. I think it's great across the board for young individuals looking for a future to impact the community and giving the opportunity to have a voice and maybe influence the younger generation to other companies and small businesses to try and get a hold of you to get their name out there to promote. One of the main reasons why we're here today is to touch the younger generation on what the trades look like, and possibly maybe growing up in Northwest Indiana, which I'm sure we'll touch on, sticking with the community and giving an opportunity to speak to the schools or speak to an outreach of people to see what that looks like for an outlook maybe a kid isn't looking at.
Yep.
To get them into the unions or into the trades.
There's two things that really sparked my interest, a lot of things, but two particular things that sparked my interest when we first talked is one was that passion you have for the youth. And I think we'll touch on your background and why that is. But secondly, just the amount of opportunity that is there for these kids that doesn't appear to be as aware to them as it could be. And that I think is significant across the region, across everywhere.
For sure. I mean, right now it's such a vocal point to go to college and go right now, graduate high school, go to college, and it's get your 4-year degree, then you can do anything, right? With technology always changing and keeping up with AI and keeping up with ChatGPT, now people have to get the infrastructures done, and you're going to need trade workers where I don't think it's replacing jobs. I think it's assisting jobs, but I think that some jobs will be eliminated. With that being said, it gives now an opportunity for kids to get into the trades, to start learning the trades with the hands-on and giving them opportunities that we have right now currently to sit with you.
That you've taken the opportunity, you've taken that opportunity and pursued it. And I think it's a great testament to the opportunities that are out there, but you have to have a little bit of that scrappy attitude, I think, to be able to make that leap and also be able to then share that story to the next generation.
For sure. And keeping that mindset for the next generation that it is still, you have to work hard to go get where you want to go.
Yeah. There's no easy path.
No easy path. No easy path whatsoever.
How did Peter get created? What makes Peter?
That's a scary question if you ask a lot of people that know me. I don't know where I came from. No. So I grew up in Northwest Indiana. Grew up in Valparaiso. Went to Flint Lake Elementary School, then transitioned to Thomas Jefferson for middle school, then went to Valpo High School. So at Valpo High School, played sports my whole entire career. Through my time of going through grade school to the high school, sports taught me a lot. I played basketball all the way up to my junior year. Kind of just coaching regime, kind of just weeded out my senior year, kind of looked towards the future of going to college. Actually went to Ball State University for a year. At that point in time, I did the whole, went to school, gave it a whirl, moved back home, needed to mature a little bit. After that, went to Ivy Tech and met my buddy actually said, let's go to West Virginia. His grandparents lived out in West Virginia. And we went out to West Virginia and I met a girl. Crazy story. Went back and forth from West Virginia to home for a little bit, did the transition to go see her. Ended up transferring to Marshall, the We Are Marshall movie, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
After that, my parents, lucky enough, very fortunate, my parents to support me through that journey of switching schools, kind of figuring out your life a little bit, as long as you were sticking into school and staying focused. But, they told me at one point, you got to get a job.
Yeah.
So her dad owned a plumbing company. So in the summers, I would go in Cynthiana, Kentucky. It was a drain doctor at the time, and I didn't even really know what plumbing was. Been in sports my whole life, kind of just doing my thing.
Yeah.
And I started working with my hands, and I thought, man, I can relate to this. It's relating to sports, relating to the hard work, getting up early, kind of the mindset of
doing things the right way, and
sure.
don't shortcut anything. Like really make sure you're prepared.
The competitive nature of just like, you got to get this done. You had the grind, the grit, it was fun. So then did that for a summer. We ended up breaking up, moved back home at this time, back to Valparaiso, or to Ball State, actually. Moved back home, went back to Ball State to finish up my college degree, moved back home after I graduated. And at that time, my parents were like, all right, what do you want to do with your life? And I'm like, heck, I don't know what I want to do yet.
Yeah.
Still haven't really processed, this journey has been kind of wild all over the map, really. Right. And at that point in time, I decided, well, why not give this plumbing a shot again? So I started reaching out to some companies to send the resume, just pretty much with the college degree at that point. And I landed a job in Dyer. There was a plumbing outfit that said I could go work with them. My parents had moved out of the area to Culver, Indiana, actually.
Okay.
So I needed a place to stay. So I stayed at my grandma's place in Chesterton and kind of went to work, kind of did my thing, took care of them for around 10 years, my grandma and grandpa. At this point, I met my wife, my beautiful wife, 2 kids, wouldn't be where I'm at right now without her. She keeps me in check. It's a good check though. It's not, you got to have that.
Trust me, I know the drill.
Yes, for sure. You need the balance.
Yeah.
And she keeps me on my toes. But my mom told me to go the union route for more security with a pension and a retirement. That way,
you gotta think about your future.
Different opportunities. So went to a company, sat down for an interview. It went pretty well. At the time, I would regret it now, not regret it, but I definitely don't know if I would say it again. I told my boss at the time, future at the company, and I said, I want your job. And I looked at the president and said, I would like your job. At this time, I think I'm like,
that's 20. A unique interviewing style.
Yeah. And that's the thing with me is it's the right and wrong way. It's normally kind of a little bit off of a different approach.
Yep.
And looking back, I think I was 20 years old at the time, and it was pretty risky. It was interesting. So I got lucky to get in, worked with them for 11 years. And it was an interesting time because there's an apprenticeship program you go through. It's at Local 210 in Maryville, Indiana. And it's a 5-year apprenticeship program. Mondays, you're in school all day long. And then you go to school, I believe it's Monday night and Wednesday nights. And it's great. You get a 2-year degree after that with the union. In science, it's a science major with Ivy Tech. But with that being said, my career kind of excelled a little bit quicker. I would say I started running work, getting in the truck around the second year apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
3rd year kind of took on some more responsibilities and started moving up through the chain of the apprenticeship program with my company. And that's kind of where that was at that point in my life, right? At that point in time, from a transition of school to apprenticeship, kind of going through fast, and the company was great to work for, and I had a great opportunity.
And at each step you took it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of folks think sometimes, oh, well, I had this little rocky patch. Well, then it's not going to go well.
Right.
And you're like, no, I had this rocky patch, and then I decided to do this, and then that transpired, so I just decided to do this. And it seems like the opportunity is there, but you also have to go drill it.
For sure. I mean, in that time, you don't really know what you're going through, right?
Yeah.
Like you think as a kid, you don't know what you don't know, right? And real world is real world. Life is hard. And I feel that in the moment, it might feel tough. It might feel like, I would say even lost at times, right? But then as life progresses, I'm a true believer in everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And every opportunity, you never know when you sit down at a coffee shop, or you never know at a bar, or whatever anybody's into, who's sitting next to you or what their story is, because every story is different.
Yeah.
And you never know where opportunities are going to lead. And it's hard in that moment, but in the end, as you get older and mature, you look back and reflect on all of that. Like, wow, this story of where I was as a 19-year-old kid, 20-year-old kid getting into the union hall to sit here today with you. Don't think that was processing in my brain that plumbing and a podcast could really jive, right?
Well, you did think you were going to be president of the company.
Right. Yeah. And you have the goals and mindset of that. And it goes back to even being younger. Your sports teach you a lot.
Yeah.
Sports taught me a lot of working hard and what are you going to do different than no one else is doing, right? That's, if you get up at, I'm a huge fan of Kobe Bryant, and you look at it, if a normal work day is at 7 to 3:30, right? Let's say you get up early at 5 a.m. and leave at 4 a.m. So you're putting in 3 extra hours a day. Now multiply that by a full work week and multiply it by a year and think about how much you're getting ahead of everybody else pretty much from a competitive mindset.
I love the mindset. I grew up in that mindset a little bit from a sports side.
Yep.
I'm not a great athlete, but I tried to play a lot of sports. But also just watching sports and then growing up in the financial markets, which are just insanely competitive.
For sure.
But just enjoyable because you realize like you compete, and then you go for dinner.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's in sports, it's that way. It's you're competing absolutely to like the scrappiest end whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
But then those are guys that you see at the All-Star game or at club stuff or travel stuff. And those are the kids you respect immensely.
For sure.
What is it that when that kind of scrappiness comes up, someone probably says, that's just too much. That's too much work. That's too hard. I want better work-life balance. I want all those opportunities, but I just want to go at the normal speed.
Yeah. So, and that's a great question. I get that asked quite often here lately. And I think that when you break it down in life, and this is what I've really started to do, and it's been working for me so far, is you break down the priorities of what's important and how are you going to get there. But you have to focus on your daily tasks every day of what can I control? Because of a lot of what people don't realize is, you have to put in the hard work. But you can't just get to step A all the way to step Z without putting that story and that journey in. And not too many people want to get there. They want to talk about it, but they don't really want to get there.
Or out of the 26 steps, they want to take everything other than 8, 11,
Correct.
14, 15, 16, and 22.
Yep.
And then you're like, no, it really actually takes all 26.
For sure.
It doesn't work.
And I think that you can control what you can control, and you put in the work every single day and you focus on the day, right? Focus on what you can. And then those build up and stack up to get you where you want to go. So I think to me, that's the journey of working hard, of trying to get there at a younger age. Heck, I'm only 34, but at the end of the day, it's worked so far. I think we're doing okay. We're not by any means getting rich in this world by any means. My family and I have a great life, and very fortunate to have what we have. But at the end of the day, it's a blue collar kind of mentality, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. It's fun.
Tell me a little bit about F.E. Moran's culture and the workplace, and what attracted you to the spot you're in now.
Yeah. So going from a company that I left from 11 years, great place, just kind of a culture change, a little bit of a culture change in a private, it was time for a new opportunity.
Yeah.
It was time for a change, time to challenge myself a little bit, and stepping into F.E. Moran, opportunity came our way, and it was very interesting. And with the unions and how everything is, you can keep a core group of people together with having the people you work with every day. So transitioning, I was able to bring some coworkers with me, a few, and it was very comfortable having that backing and realizing that some people would follow and follow the leadership of what I have now. If I told you the day I left, would we be where we are today? Absolutely not. But I think we were going to get there.
Yeah.
And with the core individuals that did come, we were able to utilize our relationships and our hard work to propel us in the market area. And with F.E. Moran, the culture is it's one of the best decisions, best companies that I've ever worked for. It's a monster company, but it's a mom and pop kind of mentality on one of the largest scales in the United States, in my opinion. Brian Moran is the sole owner of the organization. So, I sat down with him for dinner one night, super nervous meeting your boss, CEO of a company,
Yeah.
big brain. You know what I mean? You're nervous.
This is boss.
This is boss,
kind
boss,
of.
boss. Yeah. And I think the first question was a football question. And it was like me and you sitting here talking. And it was one of the coolest experiences that I had. And I learned a lot about that, where how far you move up, no matter what your title is or where you go in life, you stay true to yourself.
Yeah.
And it was just me and you talking. And it was awesome. And to show the credit to Brian for that, and Gavin Hansen, my boss, the president of FE Moran, he will get to know you as an individual, get to know exactly what you want to do, how you want to get there. Now let's get there. Let's figure out how we're going to get there. But we have these steps to get to where we need to be to get to where we want to go. And I think just how he brings it in, the mentality, the one-on-one, the I want to, just comforting. And it's cool. It's really cool. It's actually, I'm kind of speechless on how neat the opportunity was to get it up. Very lucky, very right time, right place.
How does a company like that, you said, massive in scale, but run like mom and pop? How?
It's really truthfully mind-blowing. It really is.
It's a great theory. Lots of people say they have
culture. So they have some core values. Not that many people are
able to do it.
Right. They have a culture, and it's the core values. It's the gratitude. It's the excellence, loyalty, humility, and perseverance that they push. When you walk through FE Moran's walls, it's on pretty much almost every wall. And bringing that culture when you're walking down the hallway, okay, yep, I'm in. And you read it. It starts to, now you're reading it. Now let's do it. And now everybody gets on the same page. And it's pretty cool to see. And
it's probably a lot more permeated than just the walls.
For sure.
The walls are emblematic of it, but these people live that way.
For sure, without a doubt. And I think that it gives you got the buy-in, right? You got we're going to hold you accountable, right or wrong. So good jobs, why was this good? Bad jobs, why was this bad? And now let's learn and improve on that and give you the resources to get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
And the resources, so Northwest Indiana, it's just a small niche, right? So you're only going to be so big. And I think that some companies could reach out, but I think that they're just comfortable with what they're doing.
Yeah.
And when I wanted to leave, I kind of just wanted the resources and the backing and the support. When I came here, it was mind blowing. You send an email to IT@femoran.com, you have different options. It's sometimes from going to where I was to where I am now, it was kind of an overwhelming experience with all the support. Gratitude, right?
Yeah.
So
you're like, okay, how do I take advantage of all this stuff?
For sure.
So I provide the return to these guys because I'm really excited to be here.
Right. Absolutely. So,
how do you take that? What did you learn from their culture that you're now sort of ingesting into your own leadership?
Reflection.
Yeah.
What got you here, Gavin's words exactly, what got you here isn't going to get you there. Right. So you got to reflect a lot. And I think, I've even made some life adjustments to where it's helped me reflect a lot on myself, what I'm doing. And I feel like once you start to kind of open your eyes about yourself, then now you're able to it improves the team around you.
Yeah.
And I think if you're hard on yourself, I'm too hard on myself for sure. But when you're hard on yourself and you hold yourself to a standard, now it should be vocalized throughout your organization and everybody gets the buy-in. That's what I've really taken away from FE Moran and how the culture and the environment and all of that is.
It feeds itself.
For sure.
Yeah. Intentionally.
Yes.
It's not accidentally. It's very intentionally.
Yep. Yes. Without a doubt.
Tell me, let's jump where you got a passion for kids in the next generation about the opportunities that they have. I'm in a business, we hire lots and lots of young people, and there's probably nothing I enjoy more than them coming, getting molded, adjusted, developing, growing, doing all the kinds of stuff with their own initiative. And then those folks light up and they're more capable. And then sometimes they go out into the world, sometimes they stay here. But those folks ultimately grew.
Yep.
And I love watching things grow.
Yep.
Whether it's a company or a plant, I don't really care. I just like watching things grow. It's exciting to watch. And it's exciting to be a part of. You seem to be very attracted to, I want these kids to see that opportunity. Not just, you don't have to go the normal route because 10 other reasons, but really, this is a great gig.
Right, for sure. And that kind of changed here recently. I was reflecting on something a couple months ago, and success. What's the definition of success, right? And you go through everything in your mind. Is it a fancy house? Is it more money? Is it what is success to you? And I have two boys, and I don't know what we were doing. We were playing football or something out in the front yard. That's all they love to do. And I was thinking about life, and I was just like, what if I were to die today? What would I be remembered for? And it kind of gave me a perspective of what can I do to influence my kids or a younger generation rather than everything else, materialistic and none of that stuff. When you go, nothing.
You don't get to bring it with you.
Right.
Yeah.
So ironically, within, I'd say, a couple weeks, my superintendent, Ryan Hunke, called me, and his kid wanted me to speak at his school. So It was pretty cool. And then I'm like, all right, I'm on the right path here. I think that everything happens for a reason, what I said earlier.
So I was asked to do that, and that fed me. And then so I'm going to feed it back.
Yeah. And I think that if I could be a little part of a kid's life, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool. It'd be a huge accomplishment. And I think that if I could be a voice for, where we can not just necessarily going to college and maybe giving the trades an opportunity if they're not book smart or they have a trouble reading or, comprehending. I have a hard time reading something while my mind's going 100 miles an hour. I'm a seer or a doer, and that's the trades, right? Yeah. And maybe holding back from a parent standpoint, right? We got to send them to school. Maybe you're holding your kid back here a little bit to give him an opportunity to see, all right, he can go excel in the trades. Okay, he can go into a management position. Yeah. You don't need a college degree to follow the footsteps to go do this. And if I have an impact on that,
not everybody's going to be swinging a hammer at 65.
Correct.
Like, being in the trade does not mean a lifetime of toil for your body.
Correct.
It definitely means you're going to work hard. But you're probably going to work hard in a different fashion throughout your whole career.
For sure. And being in the school district of Valparaiso, Indiana, for example, I love to go talk for a little bit, or if there's a presentation to go up and say, hey, we could do this, or this is what it's about, because I don't know how much it's being advertised. I don't know how much information or a Q&A with kids to get them involved of what they want to do, because I think that a lot of kids when they graduate have no idea what they want to do.
Yeah.
And this could jumpstart them. 30 to 40 grand a year in college that you could be thrown out the window to possibly a opportunity where schooling's free.
Yeah.
Money's there quick. Money's there quick to set somebody else up with their kids. And I think there's an opportunity for them. I really do.
Well, I know from a union perspective, just about every union I'm aware of is eager to develop new team members.
For sure.
And grow that throughout the organization. From a building perspective, I know there's a lot of construction that is awaiting making sure that they have enough team members across multiple trades. So the demand is there. What do you think needs to happen for those kids to get it?
That's a very good question. I would say, they need to get a clear understanding of what is all involved. How much are we doing on a union standpoint to even non-union? What's this look like with the trades? What's it look like? How are we going to attract these kids to where Purdue, all my buddies are going to Purdue, all my buddies are going to IU. So now you got to be a little bit different because not all of your friends are going to get into the trades. What's it going to get you to here? And at that age, if we can use it as a mentorship to help these kids and assist them through their journey a little bit sooner, maybe get in there a little earlier than what after, we tried this, didn't work. All right, let's go to the trades. If we can catch that little bridge gap and mentor them, I think mentorship is one of the key focal points that we need to be stressing to get these kids on the right path at a quick time out of school.
Yeah. My son went for a year vocational at Porter County Career Center, but he did it in video production and media studies.
Right.
He definitely learned he doesn't want to be a video guy,
but
it actually stimulated his interest in photography. And now he's a rocket photographer for a living.
Okay.
And, that literally happened because he had an interest developed by a guy by the name of Bob Phelps at the Porter County Career Center. And because Bob Phelps developed that interest, he then went on to college at Purdue, really got into space, and then now takes pictures.
Wow.
And all of that is just because of that experience as a kid. So we hire a lot of career center kids, either while they're in school or when they're back on break from college or post college, just because they've all learned to work. And a lot of young folks might go from high school to college, and then they leave college, and this might be their first real hardworking reality experience, and that's a little jarring. That can be pretty overwhelming for young people, but career center kids, they're used to, no, I got to go make this product. I got to go finish this video. I got to have a live stream or a show up today, right now. And similarly in plumbing or any other form of trades, they're learning hard world skills. Right. And to me, that's what's valuable. They know, like, you got to get this done today.
And there's a deadline. There's a deadline there. You got to get there. So at FE Moran,
and it's not a goal.
It's not a goal.
Today.
Yeah, today. You got to get this done. There's an owner of this building here. We got to get it done. FE Moran does a great job with internships.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Never had that. I got an intern right now. Very interesting. It's kind of cool because it gauges where that mindset of that younger generation is while he's actually going to school.
Yeah.
Going to college. But now let's see where that career goes. We could hire him on as a PM or an assistant PM. He's doing a great job. So even being able to have that here at this company with college kids, we can still work that if you want to go the construction route. But if it is hands-on, let's get you in the trades. We can get the older guys to mentor it. You know, I have a long way to go here. I got probably 20 or 30 years. I was telling my wife last night at dinner, and I said, man, 50, she goes, you're never going to slow down. So I got a long way to go here. And I am excited about it. And I want to have an influence on hiring within, keeping these guys as a mentor. And, you know, this next year, 10 years, we're going to have some guys that are going to retire. Good guys are going to retire. What's that look like? With my long career ahead of me, we have got to get some younger guys, groom them so we can work together on this thing and build some cool stuff.
Tell me a little bit about the kind of projects you work on and some of the things you're touching here in Northwest Indiana.
So we're anywhere from schools. We're currently doing a jail project. We have a lot of medical facilities, MOB, medical outpatient building, and what else do we do? Vertical expansions on top of hospitals, a lot of hospital work. We have a full-time service division. We're getting into some other stuff, but yeah, for sure. We got a lot of irons and a lot of fires here we're excited about. And giving, like, I keep going back to it, but the backing and the support that we have with FE Moran, there's pretty cool. You can go do some cool stuff, some cool opportunities you never really dreamed with. I actually sat down with an individual, it was last week, and very high up at some company. Never thought of going to local 210. That opportunity, never. Super nervous, and it was pretty cool. One of the high up companies in the United States, and it was definitely a heck of an experience. And that's what's cool about this place is it gives you the freedoms of negotiating, business style, meeting some cool individuals, sitting in a podcast. It cool stuff at this place. Cool stuff. And I want to continue to build a great team around us and see how far we can take this thing.
So if you're talking, I'm going to have you speak essentially to a couple different audiences. If you're speaking to the development, construction, trades, you know, the building industry, what do you want them to know about FE Moran right here in Northwest Indiana?
So as in like a building division?
Yeah, if you're talking to all the other building companies and the development organizations, everybody that's building big stuff. What do you want them to know about you and FE Moran?
So main thing is a partnership. It's a grind out there. Construction is hard. Construction is, you know, it can be 90 degrees or it can be negative 10 degrees outside, and we still got to build this thing. So, and those are just weather conditions. You got schedules, you got deadlines that you have to meet throughout. And with people as a big GC or any general contractor is a partnership to where, all right, let's work together here. We have an end goal. Let's work together to get to that end goal and make sure everybody's happy throughout the process. What can we do? And what can we learn from this project to go to a next project and continue to build and work on that relationship is key to me. Awesome. It's huge.
Awesome. What would you say to folks that might want to join FE Moran?
For people that would want to join FE Moran, I think that the sky's the limit. And that's what I would tell you. I would say, as long as you're willing to put the hard work in, you dedicate yourself, you're honest, you're loyal. Those are just kind of my own two. Honesty and loyalty is huge to me. And then now you throw in the gratitude, the excellence, the loyalty, the humility, the integrity, and the perseverance, and you throw this and combine it in, sky's the limit. Go do what you want to do. Go build what you want to do. Build and take your career as far as you personally want to take it. And if I can help and guide it or put you in the right position to help assist that, it's all on you. Go tear it up.
That student that's in 7th, 8th grade, high school, that's thinking, I'm not 100% sure what I want to do. What would you encourage them to think about?
My first thing would be, no one knows what they want to do, right?
Yeah.
And you don't, I love the saying, you don't know what you don't know, right? And if you can say, all right, what are you good at? Are you good at with working with your hands? Do you like building stuff? Do you like getting involved with bigger, what do you do? Do you build Legos? Do you play sports? Get to know that individual. And then you can kind of gauge them on, all right, yeah, I think the trades would be an option for you. Or go to college and see if college works, and you can still be involved in the trades as a project manager or an estimator or something, get into sales later on down the road. But with that being said, it's kind of up to what's that kid's niche.
But the main thing I think you would say is just make sure you go find out before you take the standard route.
Yep.
Look at all the various routes to take.
Look at all the options. Yeah. Look at everything, because you don't know what you don't know, right? And what does the union look like? What does working with your hands look like? What opportunities within that are there? Because a lot of kids don't know.
And someone might say, well, I don't want to be a plumber.
Right.
Well, there's 20 different things you could do in the trades.
20. Yeah, at least. Electrician, now BIM modeling is a big thing, to where you can get into a computer and you can go see the building being built prior to, it's a ditch right now.
Yeah.
There's just dirt. Now you can walk in on a BIM model and you can literally see a desk and some paper towel in the bathroom. It's wild now. And technology is huge. And that's where the trades are going, to interest kids, to help. That might be the route. Maybe it's computers. I don't like computers. I like computers, but it's enough. The patience isn't there. But if kids can kind of evolve in the IT world, and that BIM modeling right there. And a lot of people don't know that. I didn't know it graduating high school. Yeah. So maybe I was told it.
Back when I graduated high school, like they had shop and you made wooden lamps for your mom or something. I didn't have a lot of exposure to it. I definitely know I went to college, graduated college. It's not exactly for me.
Right.
I'm definitely a little bit more, distracted, let's say. But I think the typical parent just doesn't even know the range, and they're saying, I don't know, what, my son out there with a hammer on a roof his whole life. And, that is where some people spend their time, but that's one out of like 100 different positions.
For sure. And, you also hear the term like alternative school, or it's almost like not a jab, but a downgrade to talk about alternative school or shop class. Or why would you, I don't think
tech center or career center.
I think that people really need to look at that as, wow, this is cool. Go work with my hands. Maybe I like this. Maybe instead of making it seem like it's a place where kids go where you don't want to go, and it's kind of a jab to go to alternative.
If somebody doesn't have a better alternative, they go there.
Right.
I look at it as, again, we deal a lot with the Porter County Career Center, and they've got nursing and engineering and CAD and video production and entrepreneurial studies and, home construction and concrete, and everything. There's so many different things. And again, the key thing is, if you can go learn that in high school, maybe you don't want to do it. Maybe you learn, I definitely do not want to do that. But then you go into college knowing at least what you don't want to do. Where a lot of kids go into college, they really have no idea what they don't want to do. And they really have no idea what they do want to do. And there's a lot of options. If you could start shooting some and say, that's not for me, it gives you a better foundation. And the main thing is it just teaches them to work
and maybe put a little money away. And maybe if they do want to go to college, I'm not saying college is a bad thing by any means whatsoever, but I think that not giving the opportunity of maybe going to see what the trades is, I don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair to the individuals or the kids. And this is just me reflecting on, I never really understood what the trades were, and when I went through school, and I was fortunate enough, my parents helped me out with schooling, but college isn't getting any cheaper.
Yeah.
College is getting more expensive. And that alone puts a dent. Now you go to school for, let's say it's 30 grand a year for 4 years, $120,000 in the hole. That's a lot for an individual to take on when you could be making 100 grand a year in a couple of years.
Yeah.
120.
And that's the big difference is you got $120,000 of debt sitting there.
Yep.
And then you're going to go out. And again, depending on the position, you might go out and get a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 job.
Yep.
That's going to grow, but you're still net deficit quite a bit, where going through the trades, A, you're getting paid as you go to school. B, your schooling's getting paid for. And then you get out, so to speak, of the program. You're already earning money,
right?
And you're well on your way to retirement benefits and security and all kinds of things that a traditional company job doesn't offer as much.
Yep, I totally agree with you. Totally agree.
Well, I'll probably, wrap it up by asking you, is there anything else you want to share? You got a little bit of a platform here. What do you want to tell the younger generation? What do you want to tell the building industry? What do you want to tell Northwest Indiana? What do you want to tell Valpo?
Yeah, I think it's cool to have the opportunity here, being a Valpo person, Valpo grad. I think it's neat, and I'm nothing special by any means.
You were there at our beginning,
right? Exactly.
You were a Valpo Life reader, like when you were in high school.
Yeah, and I'm nothing special or nothing. It's just cool to possibly have a voice and tell the kid that. I always say my phone's on me. Call me anytime. And I would give a kid an opportunity to come work, give a kid an understanding of what the trades are. To your point of what I would say to Valpo is, I would go to your school. I know a lot of teachers that are still there. Go talk to your classroom. Go talk to for a conference or anything that they would want to give clarity for an opportunity for a kid.
Yeah.
It's not, hard work and dedication and putting your time where you need to be. You have to have that mindset, but a lot of it, if we can guide these kids instead of going down a bad path or going to college that maybe they don't want to do, if they have the hard work and dedication, we can kind of guide them through with good life choices and kind of help them with what they need to do to be successful in life. It's pretty cool.
I'll actually ask the last question. Where'd you learn leadership?
Oh, wow. Sports definitely taught me a lot about leadership. I coached Matt Thomas, actually got in a pretty bad accident. I don't know if I can talk to that.
Yeah.
A very big role model.
Yeah. To thousands. Literally
thousands.
To thousands.
Great guy. He taught me a lot. I'll never forget, I think it was sugar-free Red Bull, and he was shaking. He was so into the games and locked in. And it's just like this different mindset that he goes to. And it's cool to see. And I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from the coaches throughout my career. My dad was all state in basketball, baseball, and football. So filling those shoes was big responsibility. I was already at a big disadvantage there, right? He was pretty tough on me with sports. But I think it was more role model that I met, Jim Girth. But I think it was just being around sports, the competitive edge, and then huge coach guy. Love Nick Saban, love Lane Kiffin. I love football coaches. So I kind of read them on that a lot and see how they handle stuff, how, from where college football was to now with this nil deals and kind of learning the adjustments that they're kind of doing, utilizing it and kind of making my own twist of the next generation and how the switch, how your mindset changes and how your approach changes and what you can and cannot say. And I'm just to get it done no matter what it takes mentality of Coach Thomas. Let's get it done. Let's work hard. We can work harder than anybody. Now you got to watch what you say. You got to watch. There's a little bit of a switch to it. So
that's a transition that I think not everybody is capable of making. Not everybody wants to make.
Correct.
There's plenty of old timers like me that are like, I just want to go back to the way we could just say whatever we wanted and everybody said whatever they wanted. And I didn't really get offended and you didn't really get offended. It was all fine. It's not that way anymore. No. And again, you sound like you're quite eager to explore what has changed and then utilize the latest strategies. the vast majority of coaches are probably more in my camp. They're like, no, I just wish this didn't change. And it doesn't do anything for you. If you don't change, like you could be mad that it's changing all you want, but too bad, so sad. Suck it up, Buttercup. It's going to change.
And to that point, I think it's you as evolving as a person, right?
Yeah.
You have to evolve. You always got to get better. You have to accept change, right? You have to accept change, and you have to know yourself in order to get uncomfortable. You have to have the butterflies. You have to have that nervousness to accept your next step or your next move. And once you kind of get over yourself, once you kind of like, all right, this isn't that bad, and you can kind of suck it up, get through it, you're now able to adapt to different changes in the short time that I've kind of worked my way to that point.
Yeah. And you realize that adaptability is the greatest skill you can ever have.
For sure.
Because you could get dropped into a completely different situation 3 months from now.
Yep.
And that adaptability is what will get you to where you need to go, not just because you know how to do 7 things.
And 90% of the time when you have the jitters, it's just you in your head.
Yeah.
You're afraid of what? There's nothing really there until you go do it. And you're like, holy cow, that really wasn't that bad. And holy cow, you can get through this. Why'd you psych yourself out? Now, I'm a little bit prepare, no matter what happens. But
obviously,
ready to go, right? But 90% of the time, it's just you're afraid of nothing until you're there. And then when you're in the moment, you should be prepared enough to kind of hit any angle you need to attack what you want to.
Well, you got some great lessons overall,
Mm-hmm.
Good understanding of what the company's all about and how you're wired. But I think also some great talking points that kids could listen to and say, yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I want to talk to a guy like that. I want to learn more.
I'm excited to see where this is going to go. I know your guys' platform is huge. This is a heck of a facility, heck of an opportunity. Again, I'm very excited.
We're literally just a reflection of the people around us. And we've been able to tell 70,000 stories, and that's cool as heck. But the fact is, there are 70,000 stories to tell that are positive.
Yep.
And there's a guy that asked me years and years and years ago, well, how many stories you're going to actually be able to tell if you just focus on the positive stuff? And I saw him a couple months ago, and I said 70,000. And took him a minute, and he sort of figured out what it was. Right. And we're literally a reflection of the people that are there. So if you don't have a story worth telling, they don't exist. I love sports.
Yep.
So I view watching a high school basketball game as there are 12 warriors and 10 leaders that are going to battle. And those kids are just going to give every single ounce of energy they possibly can. Even the 12th kid that's just warming up like crazy in practice, even though they know they're never going to play.
Right.
Those kids are wired in, and that's to play like a JV basketball game. We are adults. We're all paid for a living, and we're all trained and reasonable, and we've got experience and all this supposed knowledge. There's a heck of a lot of adults that don't train or play nearly as hard as the 10th player on a JV basketball team.
Correct.
That's insane.
Right.
It's literally insane. Like, we're paid to do stuff, and we're adults and we're grown people. And there are freshman basketball players or freshman football players that could take more critique than 50-year-old managers.
Yep.
That's a little crazy.
It is wild. That's wild to even put. That's a good way of putting it, and that's wild to even think about. How much dedication and hard work they're going in, and you're just going through your day to day, and you're complaining. You know? It's wild.
And that 7th grade Pop Warner kid is hearing more direct feedback about Johnny, make your block, or you don't get to play. Than probably a lot of 50 or 40 or 30 or 20-year-olds that are in the workplace. And they're saying, oh, this is so negative. I don't like it. And you're thinking, I view everything by 2 standards. If you could really go back and say, what did our parents or our teachers teach us of how we were supposed to behave in the 2nd grade? Don't bully people. Don't be, intentionally mean. Don't say bad things about people. Don't punch them in the face. Don't hurt somebody else. And then secondly, if you really worked as hard as a JV basketball player that was sitting on the bench, like, you'll be successful in everything you do in life.
For sure.
And if you could learn that as a JV player at 14, 15, 16, God,
You can go back and reflect to it.
You can do
stay in there.
everything
Yes,
you
for
want
sure.
to in life. And
For
that's
sure.
how you get to be a good dad. That's how you get to be a good husband. That's
Yep.
how you get to be a good wife, a mom, a sister, brother, whatever that is. Whatever you're going to be is, do I follow the premise that my mom taught me in the second grade?
Yep.
And do I work as hard as a JV sub on a basketball team? And, if you do those and you take, for example, those values you're talking about, F.E. Moran, you do those and you take those values, you could pretty much do anything.
You can set a goal and you can go get it. My goal to where it was back, let's go a year and a half, 2 years ago, it's already way out here.
Yeah.
Because I'm not saying we hit that goal. We're not close to this, but now we got to set some further goals here because the opportunities here and keeping all the morals and the core values together, like you said, you can do what you want here. It's pretty neat. It's cool to have that outreach and be able to fulfill your dreams with what you were just saying.
Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah, it's funny you say about the go back to second grade because we were in a big meeting and they said, "Hey, Peter, what do you recommend?" I said, "Well, I tell everybody go back to second grade, like you literally said." And I said, "What do the teachers tell you in first and second grade? Treat people with respect, don't lie, and do what's right, and be the best you can be." That's it. And if you treat people with respect, how you want to be treated, and a few other little things, you can go far. You can do what you want.
Well, I love to share the story of your example. Thanks for connecting. And I'm looking forward to more people connecting with folks like you to say, what could be out there for me?
Thank you again for the opportunity. Truly blessed to be here. It's kind of a, how do I say, out of body experience. Kind of a cool, never thought we'd be in this situation here, but we're getting through it. And I can't thank you enough for having us.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Chris.